This is the Stone Vertical Epic. It's a series of yearly releases between February 2nd, 2002, all the way to December 12th of 2012, meant to be enjoyed anytime after December 2012. Well, it's kind of far after that date, so I decided to call some friends at Stone, go out to San Diego, and have an epic tasting.
Drink it or dump it.
Okay, so this is how the whole thing went down. I originally started with the 08 through the 12. Then I found the depth charge double bastard, and of course I had a Rumbrignugan because I had held on to at least one of my collabs. When I got out to San Diego, Steve had the 03 through the 06. Then Chris had the 07. It started to pile up. Then Greg brought out the 02-02-2020 palindrome. And then, of course, Jeremy had an 08 bitter chocolate oatmeal stout. And then Chris won up that with the Enjoy After 12-26-15. And then, of course, because there wasn't enough, Chris added the 2008 Juxtaposition collab. So we started with the Vertical Epic in full, and it all went downhill from there. All right, so I want to open up the 2010, the 10-10-10. And there's a lot around this beer because I look at the ingredients of this one. This is with the pressed Muscat, the Gewürztraminer, the Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh yeah,
grapes,
that's
dried chamomile flowers. Is this your influence?
I mean, so Mitch came from a wine background, and so did I, and so we were excited about trying to use wine grapes in a beer. And so we have Temecula right up the road.
Yeah, these were Temecula grapes.
Yeah, some South Coast wineries, Gewürztraminer, and I think Riesling. And so Mitch and I got to relive our kind of wine bug and got to go up there during harvest and get the grapes. So that was really exciting. And, coming from a wine background, it was cool to think about. And this kind of series is perfect to kind of marry those two, two different beverages.
Have you, up to this point, had you done a beer with grapes before?
No.
So this was totally experimental. That's fun.
Yeah, we're in the process where there's grapes added, Jeremy.
Well, so that's a story, yeah. Because of labeling, you can't do the sulfite thing. Mm-hmm. So they were unsulfited. So there was a chance of, things can grow a little easier. And beer's a lot different than wine. And it's a lot easier to get infections.
Is it like the pH?
Yeah, plus just the ABV levels too, kind of protect
sugars.
Yeah, so we ended up having to sanitary. We had to tag everything, all the hoses, and basically had a whole separate line for this beer, and then everything else in the facility because we didn't want to get sour IPA. That would have been a drag. So the beer turned out to be really hard to make, a lot harder than I think we anticipated when we were first when it was a fun idea, and then we got on the production level and we're like, oh yeah, we should probably thought about that.
And what was the process? Were you pressing the grapes? Was it the skins? And at what point were you adding them?
It was must. So they were crushing it, and we were bringing it down and then adding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what point?
Well,
were you
for
adding?
the layman, must is what?
Just grape juice, basically, smashed grapes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we added it.
I believe it was during fermentation.
It was during, so it wasn't hot side. So on the hot side,
So it's not getting.
You really
it's
have
not
the
getting
chance
sterilized. So we realized that this is going to be challenging.
Yeah, this beer always brought up nightmares for me because it was I was in charge of the cellar back then. So it was like every single time this beer got processed, I was like in charge of this whole cleaning regime and making sure we take everything apart and get it all swabbed and checked and make sure our QA team was on board before we processed any other beers. So got a lot of phone calls at night. Don't miss those.
Oh man, this is just bringing back my hats off to you guys for the serious hardcore labor and everything you guys put into all this. I mean, that wasn't my side, so I wasn't back there with you. I was doing other things. And, I sometimes thought my life was pretty hard, but I know you guys really worked it.
Thank you.
What was going on in 2010 over at Stone? Because it seems like 2010 was a big year for craft beer across the country.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that fervor in
Yeah,
the industry.
yeah.
There was that, like, it was
Excitement,
still about,
passion.
like, not just can we do this. It went from the early days of, are we going to be able to do this? Can we do this? We are doing this, to, we are going to bring this to the world.
Right.
And I think in many ways that actually has happened, but in a different format. I remember when we made the announcement for that, and for what else? Do you remember? There's a video out there somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
You can look it up and you can
snip it in.
Yeah. But I remember Steve and I
It was
out in the
too early
gardens.
to be Richmond or something. It wasn't.
No, it would have been too
No.
early for that.
Was it Liberty Station?
Would have been too
No, what? Might have been Liberty, yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
opened.
Liberty Station.
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, because the opening year of Liberty Station was 11,
2013 is when we opened.
13. There you go.
I like this.
This is
I mean,
good, really nice.
the nose immediately was like, yes.
Yeah, I mean the grapes taste good.
Yeah, you still get the wine character.
Character is nice.
This is like a liquid candy, but not in that cloying, sweet, kind of like. That's what I was always amazed about with the wine beer hybrids. I think that Mitch told me at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, that this was the driest beer that we'd ever created.
Possible.
And it doesn't taste it.
No,
And that's what
it doesn't.
I remember being quite surprised, going, but how is that possible? Because there's so much body and sweetness to this.
Yeah.
But he's like, yes, I get that, but technically it is very low in the bricks and the residual sweetness.
Yeah, analytically dry, but
Yeah,
And you
and
put
that's
some
amazing.
Belgian candy syrup in there, right?
Why
Yeah.
It's cool in a way.
Did we?
I believe.
Did we in this one? We did in a
I
lot
would
of
say it
these.
on the bottle then.
What's that?
Candy sugar.
I don't remember. No.
I don't think you needed to with the grapes.
Probably not.
My notes say yes. Let me grab the bottle.
It's got a little bit of, maybe apricot. It's got a little bit of apple juice,
Apricot.
which,
This edition of our Stone Vertical Epic series takes two interesting left turns. A Belgian-style golden triple is the starting point of this beer, but the first left turn is nearly immediate with the addition of dried chamomile flowers. Triticale? Right? What's that? Yeah, and Belgian amber candy sugar.
Triticale.
so there
Triticale.
is candy sugar.
The second,
Yeah. Yeah.
the second and rather unusual turn takes us half hour up the road from Stone to Temecula, courtesy of the addition of just pressed Muscat, Gewürztraminer, and Sauvignon Blanc grapes from our friends at South Coast Winery. As the Stone Vertical Epic Ale series has moved through the calendar, we found the brewing schedule for a 10-10-10 release coincided nicely with the grape harvest, neatly providing an interesting twist in this epic tale.
People, just like music and musical genres, right? When you really bring two musical genres together in a hybridized way that's very unusual, you might have some fans, but it's not going to be very wide because people like to segment things. And I think that's the case with, beer,
I think
wine,
food's
hybrids.
the same way. When like fusion, whatever you call fusion, you have a very select few people who really want to see what's different. Then, you know what? Let's just don't have
My
Korean
mashed
and
potatoes and
barbecue
meatloaf here
Right,
and my
right.
Korean barbecue here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's no different, but
I want your mashed potato Korean barbecue taco.
you should
Will
have it.
please
Yes,
make that.
on an arepa,
Good.
served on an arepa. The 10-10-10's a drink it for sure.
Yeah.
In
But
fact,
I actually think that's part of the reason. It's hard to just people make it, and also because, as these guys were describing, breweries will often price it higher. They may bottle it and put it in a 750 cork finish or something to sort of acknowledge the specialness of it.
sure.
And that has also consumers have moved away from that kind of format. So.
Yeah, I'll send that down for a dump.
Well, you should try that before you.
The cuvee.
That's a blend.
No, we'll do this
Is that
one
gonna hurt
after.
you?
Yeah.
Right.
This is the
It's
cuvee
like, who's
right
going to drink the bong
Okay,
water?
well, I'm going to do it right now because this is not all of them, but
Well, that pitcher will be a vertical blend.
Yeah, I was like,
Should've
that's why
done
all
a
of our taste
blend.
panels always
Oh,
overwent
yeah.
time.
We should have done a blend.
This is
Greg is the
completely fine, but unremarkable.